Hi, I am Maspuroh. I will continue the material from Putri Sevia Yulian. The teens that follow it by both the instructor and the student are: Step 1. An indicator on the themes for the project on stage. The indicator gives students the opportunity to shape the project and develop a sense of perspective and shared commitment. When putting together a project, it is often helpful for students to make references to previous class reading, videos, discussions, and activities. During the early stage of the American electoral project, who brainstormed about possible issues in American political debate. Through discussion and negotiation, they identified the following issues to consider: taxes, crime, welfare, gun control, abortion, family leave for policy, affirmative action, electoral reform, imagination, censorship, environment, and environmental laws, gathering relevant resources, information, ID, and experiences. Students narrow the scope of the debate by selecting specific issue from within a specific issue set from a larger brainstorming set of issues that are of particular interest to the class and which is researchable, which means that research is available or research is accessible. And then step 2, sudden final result. Whereas the first stage of project work involves establishing a starting point, the second step requires determining an end point or end result. Student and instructor consider the nature of the project, its project, and most appropriate way to reach the top of the project. They can choose from a variety of options, including writing, private letter, poster, or bulletin board displays, debates, or oral presentation. Information packs, handbooks, scrapbooks, brochure, newspaper, or video. In the case of an American election project, the teacher has decided that the end result is a public debate between two fictional political parties. In this second project, students took part in defining the nature and format of the debate and determining the intended audience. And then step 3. Student and project instructor structure after students have determined the starting and ending point of the project. They need to study the project body. Decided that typical team members would come together to gather information that could be used by their supporter and opponents before actually taking sides. In this way, members of the TOEFIC team will share to take a stand and find rebuttals rather than giving it in a real debate atmosphere. The idea is to build a collaborative work atmosphere. The TOEFIC team members will work as a group together to gather information and then to determine what is most suitable for those who supported and offers their profession. At this stage, students are further divided into support and offend groups and then work separately to prepare for the debates. And then step 4, information domain instructor collection. Instructor, it is at this point that the instructor determines, first with student adjustment, the language instruction of the information in information stage, step 5. The instructor can then find language preparation Activities to prepare students for information assignments. For example, students would gather information through interviews. The instructor might plan practice questions, introduce conversation starting step, and set aside time for role playing to provide feedback on pronunciation and to allow students to practice listening and recording voice. In fact, if students review the steps to find material, the instructor might ask the library to collect material with sample text. The teacher can also provide resources and practice skimming and guide for organized data. And then step 5. Students collect information after practicing the language, skill, and strategies needed to gather information. Students are now ready to gather information and assess it so that others or on their team can understand it. In the project highlighted here, students read lessons for material as libraries to support new ones, write letters to political parties to determine their stand and on an issue under consideration. Seek organization that support or develop some aspect of their profession age group controllers and gather information that might be of us interest during this stage of data analysis. The instructor who examines the problems and proposition under study also enter information that students consider video dictums and lecture made by the teacher. And then step 6. Instructor prefers students for language requests, collecting and analysis of data. After successfully gathering information, students are presented with assessment. In assessment, the synthesizing, synthesizing information that might have been gathered from multiple sources and by different individuals. Instructor can prepare students for completion stage analysis and analysis with sessions in which students read material and then study, analysis, and interpret it with the aim of determining which ones are most appropriate for support and openness. Introducing students to graphical representation. For example, grids and chart. The mind draw out relationship between ideas is especially useful at this point. And then step 7. Students complete an analysis of information with the help of various organizing techniques, including organizer chart. Students collect and analyze information to identify data that is specifically relevant to the project. Teams of students weighs the score of the collected data, discard some of the for non-conformity with the project, and save the rest. Students determine which information represent the main evidence. While further and openness of their proposition, it was at this point that the topic team split into two groups and began working separately to build and strongest case for debate. And then step 8. Instructor prepares students for final product presentation language request. At this stage, in the project development, this instructor can bring in language informant activities to help students succeed with the presentation of their final product. This might require practicing oral presentation skill and receiving feedback on sound projection. pronunciation of ID organization, and eye contact. This might involve perspective and revising written report, letters, debate project. The instructor focusing on the step to be as during the debate to show valid disagreement and to offer different ones. So much taller and tardy. Students practice their oral presentation and try to answer the question they often it will ask in the case of the correct selection of American members. And then step 9. Student present final products. Students are new ready to present the final result of their project. In an collection project, student debate in front of an audience following a previously agreed format. It occasionally held debate so that students can later review their debate performance and receive feedback from the instructor and their peer. And then last step 10. Students evaluate the project although student and instructor often view the presentation of the final products as the final stage in the project work process. It is a good idea to ask students to reflect on the experience as the final step. Students can reflect on the language they are fluent in to complete the project, the content they learning about the targeted theme. In the case highlighted here, the America election, the party vote room, and the role of debate in the electoral process. The steps they follow to complete the project and have their final project. Students can be asked how they might proceed differently at a later time or what suggestions they have for future project work. Through this reflective activity, students realize how much they have learned and teacher benefits from the student. In insight for the project class in the future. That's enough. What our group can say is less and more. Please forgive. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.